Have you ever felt like you're just drowning in a sea of tutorials, articles, and online courses, but for some reason none of it actually sticks? Well, today we're going to show you how a whole new wave of AI tools can help you stop just consuming information and start truly mastering new skills. Let's dive in. You know the feeling. We are surrounded by endless tutorials and courses. And yeah, we might watch them, we might finish them, but studies show that our actual real-world performance often doesn't really improve. And that's the core challenge of modern learning, isn't it? How do we turn all that information into skills we can actually use when it really matters?
And that brings us to this really crucial idea called the learning-doing gap. It's that frustrating space between, say, knowing a sales framework in theory and then totally freezing up when a client pushes back on your pricing during a real call. It's the gap between watching a coding tutorial and actually being able to debug your own program when a deadline is breathing down your neck.
So why does this gap exist? Well, it's mostly because of how we traditionally learn. Passive learning, watching a video, reading an article, that transfers knowledge. But it's active learning, practicing, applying what you know, and getting instant feedback. That's what builds real skill. And this is exactly where AI comes in. It acts like a bridge, turning that passive watching into active, stress-tested practice.
All right, so how do we actually do it? The key is to stop thinking of AI as some kind of replacement for your brain and start thinking of it as a team of powerful specialists you can call on anytime you want. You're about to meet your new personal tutor, your tireless research assistant, and your on-demand creative partner, all designed to help you learn and grow faster than ever.
Let's break these AI teammates down into 4 main categories. Think of this as building your own personalized toolkit for mastering basically any new skill you can think of.
First up, we've got the all-rounders. Tools like ChatGPT are kind of like the Swiss Army knives of learning. You can use them to brainstorm ideas for a new project. You can ask them to explain a super complex topic like quantum physics in really simple terms, or you can even have them role-play a tough conversation before a big meeting. Their biggest strength? They adapt to your level and give you feedback in an instant.
Then you have the specialists. These guys are absolutely laser-focused. Think of Duolingo for learning languages. It uses gamification and super clever repetition to make vocabulary actually stick in your brain. Or something like Replit for coding, which drops you right into a real programming environment where you can write and debug code instantly. You're learning by doing, not just by watching.
Next up are the creatives. Maybe you want to learn video editing? A tool like Pictory can take a simple script and turn it into a polished video in just a few minutes, which lets you focus on the storytelling part. Or maybe you want to develop your eye for design. Midjourney can generate these stunning images from just a simple text description. With these tools, you learn by creating, by iterating, and by seeing your ideas come to life almost instantly.
And finally, we have the organizers. These tools are all about tackling that feeling of information overload head-on. Something like MemAI can act like a second brain, automatically organizing all your notes and finding connections between different topics that you might have missed. And you've probably seen these AI-powered YouTube summarizers. They can take a 2-hour lecture and boil it down to the absolute essential points, saving you tons of time and helping you remember more.
Okay, so let's get practical. Let's dive into a real example. We all watch educational videos on YouTube, right? But let's be honest, how much do we actually retain? Let's look at a system for turning that passive screen time into a really powerful and active study session. So here's what the new workflow looks like. You start with a simple link to a video. The AI instantly transcribes and summarizes the whole thing for you. Then, and this is cool, it automatically creates study materials like flashcards and quizzes. But the real game changer is this last step. You can actually ask the content questions, almost like you're having a conversation with the video itself, to clarify anything you don't understand.
Now this might sound a little futuristic, but it's already happening right now. Let's look at a real-world example. I want you to meet Daphne. She's an 8th grader who is tasked with learning a completely new math topic, scientific notation, using Khan Academy's new AI tutor, Khan-Migo.
So at one point, the AI tutor, who they call Migo, gave an explanation that was just too long and complicated. In a normal video, Daphne would just be stuck. But here, she could simply type, "That was too many parts. Can you go over that again with less words?" And just like that, the AI immediately adapted, simplifying its explanation to match her exact learning style.
Later on, she got to a problem and was completely stuck. She just typed, "I don't know how to do this." Now, instead of just giving her the answer, which doesn't really help you learn, Migo gave her a targeted hint to guide her thinking. It used a simpler example to build her confidence and her understanding.
So after just a few guided attempts in these personalized feedback loops, Daphne was able to solve a problem correctly, all on her own. And the AI immediately recognized her success and gave her that positive reinforcement, turning what could have been a moment of struggle into a real moment of achievement.
So, what was the final verdict? Well, Daphne's ratings tell a really fascinating story. She found the AI tutor significantly more effective at helping her learn, and it was more efficient, too. What's really interesting, though, is that she actually found the original platform a bit more enjoyable, but the AI was, without a doubt, the better teacher. This just highlights the incredible power of personalized, interactive learning.
So, the crucial point in all of this is that AI is a tool to amplify your intelligence, not replace it. This is not about letting the machine do the thinking for you. No way. It's about empowering you to think better. You are always the pilot. You're the one directing the tool to achieve your goals.
Here's a great way to think about it. AI is basically a powerful calculator for learning. I mean, a calculator handles all the tedious arithmetic, so you can focus on solving the actual problem, right? Well, these AI tools do the same thing. They handle the heavy lifting of transcription, summarization, and drilling, freeing you up to focus on what we humans do best: critical thinking, creativity, and real problem solving.
But, like any powerful tool, it's super important to use it responsibly. Always verify the information AI gives you, because it can and does make mistakes. Remember that you are still the author of your own work. Be smart about protecting your personal data and always critically evaluate the output. A good way to think of it is like having a brilliant but sometimes flawed intern.
So we've seen how AI can close that learning-doing gap, act as your own personal tutor, and transform passive content into a truly active study session. The tools are here, and they're more accessible than ever before. So, with this new map to faster, more effective learning right at your fingertips, the only real question left is, what will you learn first?